Welcome back to Cady's Corner on Sporty 1240 AM, NBC Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Cady's Corner here on Sporty 1240 NBC Sports Radio. Also streaming live online at sporty1240.com. And I mentioned earlier in the show we had a guest coming on who had a really has really had an awesome career so far at Union, but had an awesome day yesterday in finding out that he was named to the Golden Spikes Award Midseason Watch List, which is presented by USA Baseball. One of only two non-Division I baseball players to be put on this list. A very prestigious 60-player list of players across the country in college baseball. And joining us to discuss that is the junior from Union College over in Schenectady. That'll be Jake Fishman. Jake, welcome to the program. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today.
Not a problem. First things first, congratulations on being named to the watch list. And I remember I mentioned the players that have received this award in the past just since 2008. I mean, we're talking guys like Chris Bryant, Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, Buster Posey. That's a pretty elite list that you could potentially join down the road. Is it how much does it mean to you to be named to that watch list and be recognized for what you've been doing so far as a junior?
I mean, honestly, there's no better feeling in the world, like just to be put in the same class as those guys. It's insane. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my own head around it.
And now we take a look at just your career overall, and obviously you come from Sharon, Massachusetts. Talk about your time in high school when you were playing there, and how things worked out that you ended up coming to Union College a few years ago.
Yeah, so I was in high school, and I was pretty good, kind of a small kid. I was a late bloomer, so most of the D1 schools I talked to said they weren't interested. So I was looking at probably 4 schools. Union was on that list, and I did my overnights at each school. And one of my older buddies went here, played baseball, and he showed me a great time. And from then on, I loved the school, and I've never looked back since.
Now, what in particular about Union attracted you to want to come here when you were visiting? Was it the city of Schenectady? Was it the people on the campus? What attracted you to come?
Mostly it was probably the people on campus. I found that a lot of the other schools that I went to, there was a divide between the athletes and the non-athletes. And at Union, I just felt there was absolutely no divide. Like, everybody was friendly, and that's really something that I was looking for.
Jake Fishman, junior from Union College Baseball, joining us here on Cady's Corner, Sporty 1240 NBC Sports Radio, also streaming live online, sporty1240.com. And you get to campus a couple years ago, and you jump right in, head first, with receiving Rookie of the Year accolades from the Liberty League and as well as from the ECAC Division III Upstate region. Talk a bit about that freshman year and any adjustments you may have had to make from your time in high school to your time playing as a freshman in Division III.
So once I got here, I think, that's really when I started putting in a lot of hard work into baseball. And that was what really made the difference. I got a lot stronger, got a lot bigger. And so the transition from high school to college was, it worked out well, just because I found that I was throwing harder and I was hitting the ball harder. So I found that, transitioning wasn't too hard for me.
You talked about this being a late bloomer and, things coming on, to another level as you arrived at Union. Now that you're a junior, do you ever have that thing in the back of your mind that's kind of like, I'm going to do me while I'm here at Union, and I want to make sure that those schools that didn't really like me at D1, that they kind of regret not, like, has that ever crawled in the back of your mind, with all the stuff you've been doing these first few years?
Yeah, sometimes that pops in the back of my mind, but then I realize that I'm where I am today because I came to Union. I think part of my success on the baseball field is backed by really enjoying the school that I go to and enjoying and just having fun and not really putting too much stress on the game.
You mentioned enjoying the school you're going to, and now having to adjust to working with Coach Mound at Union. Talk a bit about playing for Coach and what he's meant in your development over these first, roughly 2.5 seasons that you played at Union.
Yeah, Coach Mound has been doing a great job ever since I got to Union. You can't really say enough good things about the guy, but the way he just coaches our program, it's a tight-knit program, and he really values team. I think that's one of the most important things that's contributed to our success as a team is he makes sure we're a very close-knit group and we all work together.
Jake Fishman, junior for Union College Baseball, joined us here on Cady's Corner, Sporty 1240, NBC Sports Radio, and streaming live online, Sporty1240.com. Now, what's unique about Division III and even Division II baseball, different from Division I, is that pitchers a lot of the time in Division I, they're strictly just pitchers. They go out, they pitch every third or fourth day, and it is what it is. Meanwhile, on the Division II or Division III level, you got to have a bit of a wider range to you, as I know you've played, you've dabbled a little at first base, you've been DHing. Talk about the fact that you do have to go out there and play every day and not just, be able to sit around like any pitcher on like a D1 level. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's definitely very stressful on my body. So, you pitch game one, and then you have 3 more games to play that weekend. So, I just try and I pace myself through the weekend, and it's a lot of recovery work during the week that's, might not be necessary for guys that don't have to do that, but it's definitely necessary for me to, go into the trainers every day, making sure I'm doing what I'm doing to keep up with my strength and health, and at the end of the week, it's very tiring and stressful. But I wouldn't change it at all because I love doing it.
And now, taking a look specifically at this season, and last year we saw RPI and what they did in winning the Liberty League and going on to the NCAA tournament. Did the fact that your crosstown rivals did that fuel any kind of fire for this team coming into this spring and trying to get itself ready and into the place it is right now, which is at the top of the Liberty League right now?
Yeah, I'm not sure if fire is the right term. I mean, I know at least personally, I looked at RPI and I was happy for them that they ended up making it so far into the NCAA tournament. It's been a long time since someone from the Liberty League that has made it that far, and it shows to the strength of our league. But it definitely showed our team that we can do that as well, because we didn't think that last year they were too much better than us. We split with them during the season, but it really just made us realize that if you have the determination, then you can go as far as they did and even further than that. So I think that's really pushed us this year to try and do that.
And, with this squad, usually, playing, with Union, they usually play a lot of their stuff on campus. But this season with the baseball team, they've been playing games now at Shuttleworth Park out in Amsterdam, which is also where a summer baseball team, the Amsterdam Mohawks, who's done amazing work over the last decade or so in that summer league, they also play out there. How much different has it been to play at Shuttleworth than it has been to play in Schenectady at Central Park?
actually been quite different. I'm a huge fan of Shuttleworth Park. It's a beautiful stadium with a turf infield, and I personally like the hops much better on turf than on the dirt that we normally play on. But I think it's definitely helped us out this season having a very nice field to play at. It feels good to play on that field.
And now get a look at what you've been doing so far this year. You've been named Conference Pitcher of the Week twice. You lead. You're amongst the Division III leaders nationally in ERA and strikeout to walk ratio. But you're also one of the best hitters in the entire Liberty League as well. I mean, you mentioned the toll on your body, but when you're going at a pace like this, it's kind of hard to say no, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, it's something that I love doing. I always focus on pitching first, and then I kind of let the hitting just happen on its own. I feel like that's kind of the best way to take an approach, because hitting's such a mental game. And if you take the approach, that's just okay. Whatever happens. It's much easier to stay level-headed and perform at a consistent level.
And now take a look at the team overall right now. 14-8 on the year, 9-3 in the Liberty League, though, which puts you 2 games clear in first place of Rochester, RIT, and Clarkson. All in all, gotta be pleased with the start of this season with yourself and your teammates. But obviously, more work to be done. What do you feel like the team might need to keep their focus on going down the stretch as they close out conference play in the next few weeks?
The number one thing that we really need to focus on as a team is actually staying focused. Sometimes we can get into cruise mode, and that's when we kind of start to lose it. But when we're focused, everybody's doing everything that they need to do, and it's just it's really an incredible thing to watch. We've had our 4 starting pitchers all of us have been doing extremely well, and there's some key bats in our lineup that have just been incredible. So it's awesome to see 4 starting pitchers that are all doing well, and 1 through 9 in the lineup is just incredibly hard to get through. So.
Real quick before I let you go, just something that kind of crossed my mind. Given all the statistics that are sitting behind you with what you've done over your first 2.5 seasons at Union, now being named to this Golden Spikes Award midseason watch list as one of only 2 non-Division I players on this list. And, sorry if I'm kind of overloading on that point, but it's an important point that you're one of only 2 guys. With all of that, do you feel like has there been any extra attention that you feel like? Has there been any whispers about MLB scouts at all or anything like that, or anybody taking a look at you potentially for this coming June?
There actually has. There's been probably a handful of guys that have reached out to me and had me fill out some stuff, and there's usually 1 or 2 people behind the backstop when I'm pitching. But I try not to focus on it and just enjoy what I'm doing, and whatever happens, and we'll see what happens in June. So
almost feels like you're back at being recruited 3 years ago, coming out of high school, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Jake Fishman, Jr. for Union College Baseball, currently first place in the Liberty League. Jake, thank you very much for your time today. Definitely appreciate it. Congratulations again on your recognition by USA Baseball, and good luck the rest of the year. We'll definitely catch up soon.
Thanks, Brian.